Hello and welcome to the GameShop MythCast, episode number 28. I am your host, the vocal terrorist, Jesse Voctor Rain of Voctor Gaming, also the official broadcaster of Mythology GameShop. Now, we've got something a bit interesting for you today. We have a 3v3 featuring none other than Mythology's Nathan. On his team is the Blue Protoss Judgie and the Teal Terran Creeper, who's been a long-time friend of ours. Nice to see him back on a cast here in Voctor Gaming. Up against them, however, are the Orange Terran Mister, the Purple Terran Wee Wee, and the Yellow Zerg Oldok, all of Clan Xnot. I should preface all of this, by the way, by starting with several apologies. The first off is an apology to the wonderful Bel Noir. He came in just this past week, helped me record a bunch of replays for you guys from the MythCast. Unfortunately, an encoding error means that all of the audio was entirely corrupted, making them absolutely useless. So, very sorry that the hard work hasn't paid off and that none of those are being uploaded. Same apology should go to the players, who of course sent me those replays, and now I cannot find in myself the energy to go and record them again with knowing what happens and just making it as entertaining as they deserve it to be. I still have the replays, hoping I can revisit them at least in the future. And the final apology is to you, dear viewer. I've basically given myself a week off. I've not been feeling great at all for a while. I even took yesterday entirely off work, but I'm hoping now that I can be back, that I can be uploading regular videos for you people who stick around and watch them. And, you know, that we can have fun, that we can all be good from now on. And even that hopefully I can get some friends in and do some more stuff in the future. I actually want to get people a couple of copies of Worms Armageddon and see if we can't do ourselves maybe some live streaming of Worms or some YouTube recordings of Worms, because everyone knows that that is such a fun game. Anyway, that is all aside now. Now it is time for 3v3ing. And right now, as we can see, no one taking incredibly macro openings. You know, there's 2 gas for the Protoss, there's 2 racks out for Nathan, there's 2 racks on the way for Creeper. Meanwhile, we have a Zerg just taking their first base now, but having gone gas and pull. Meanwhile, other Terrans 2 racks, other Terrans 2 racks. So no one being particularly greedy, no one trying to get away with anything shocking. Interestingly, we have 3 workers in one gas and 1 in another. I do prefer the good old-fashioned 2-2 split. But right now, Nathan with just the 1 gas. Wow, actually just going to go into a 3rd barracks before anything else. So if we take a quick look, well, there is no scouting whatsoever from the Heroes team. Meanwhile, we do have Overlords out on the map for the yellow player, Aldok. So while not scouting their individual bases, at least they have just some semblance of map presence. So, Judgie also perhaps looking to take this back expansion, sending his Zealot to the lower ground, but is also going to be getting a Forge and a second Gateway first. Really, everyone is just playing so safe right now. Reapers for Nathan coming in, going to get chased off by a Marauder with 2 more Marines coming out to back it up. We now have 3 Reapers, but still not the greatest of positions for them to be, and Mister was fully prepared for that. So, time to go for another base. Luckily for you, you got plenty to choose from. This one, well, it's a bit less defended. Oh, he's actually going to go for the same one. Now these Reapers, without the building attack, going to try and target down this tech lab, but it's not going to happen. At least not particularly quickly. That Marauder can in fact reach them. This is very, very strong play from Nathan, however. And it does look like he does get that tech lab. Wow, Mister there, just playing terribly. Should have dropped the supply depot and gone straight after them. As it was, losing that tech lab before the upgrade was done. And this is a lot of Reapers now in the base of Xnot's Mister. Luckily, he's remembered to keep the supply depot down and even with the tech lab up. So the Zerglings, rather, are going to get in there, are going to chase them away. But nice, heavy Reaper opening from the team I'm going to refer to as the Myth team. I know it's only got 1 Myth player on it, and that is, of course, Nathan. But it's the Myth team, dang it. Meanwhile, Xnot's Reapers are now going to town on the workers of Creeper. Creeper, though, doing good to defend that, pulling a lot of SCVs, in fact, every single one of them, while his teammates Reapers got in the position to do some real damage. So, we're looking okay. Nathan going to be double expanding. Judgie's already expanded. Meanwhile, Creeper just adding more and more racks, intending to keep this pressure up, almost entirely Reapers. Old Duck has his first expansion down, but no second expansion for him. Meanwhile, Wee only just now putting a command center down, adding more and more barracks and factories, and these Reapers being a massive pain in the arse to Mister, who is adding more barracks to defend them and no expansion. So the Myth team is going to be in a very good position in the future. Nathan has shown himself as somewhat of a team game specialist, just overall playing 2v2s in the DSCL with Amanda, but of course he's also a very, very strong 1v1 player and improving all the time. These Reapers are getting pretty much as much bang for their buck as they could. All those Reapers taking out the Zerglings of his opponent. Meanwhile, Creeper continuing this Reaper harass, and his opponent trying to get out enough units to deal with it, but if he just keeps rallying Reapers to it, this base is actually pretty much dead, especially with Nathan coming in now. So Wee having to try and pull all his SCVs to get himself safe while Mister comes to help out. Now those Marauders are really going to be the ones doing the damage. The Reapers will take down the Marines relatively fast, but the Marauders are going to do some heavy damage here. And we do have the Zerglings coming in to help out as well. So I think it's time for those Reapers to leave. They've done a great deal of damage. Without a repair, yep, that reactor's going to die, and then the barracks will go down too without a repair. And they're getting more and more worker kills as and when they can. So far, really strong play for our Myth team. As we can see, the orbital commands are now finishing up. We've got one moving out to land, the second that was being made also just finishing up, and that will likely stay there for a bit before eventually going out, and I'd assume taking this gold base here, but we'll have to wait and see what Nathan's plan is with that. This map is not a great one in terms of expanding. You don't have that many options to be taking extra bases after a while. As you can see, only one natural expand for each for each player. Before then, you have the gold expand, and then just one more unrocked gold expand at each cardinal position there in terms of north and south. So, like I say, not a great position to be in if you want a macro. It's a map that favours aggression, and that's what our players have been doing so very well. These Reapers have continued to be useful all game long. So now we've got Lings breaking down these rocks just so they can take the Zelnaga watchtowers, and I kind of like this as a feature, denying that early game scouting but allowing it in the later game as things start to heat up and you're able to take these rocks down. I like that. That's interesting. It's not something you really see on too many maps, but I think we could see more of that in the future. Wow, those Reapers do not want to go up there. That is just a Reaper death trap waiting to happen. Interestingly, the Zerg player Old Duck mostly been left alone, which is really fine so far for the Myth team, because he's still only on 2 bases, and Zergs on 2 bases just aren't that scary. It just has to be said, especially as the game goes on, and now look at these Reapers. They are taking down the Queen, they're going to take down a ton of drones here, and there's just nothing to defend. We've got Speedlings going up into the main base to stop the Reapers coming up and attacking into there. Look at all these drones, look at these drones being rallied back. Oh, but it doesn't matter anyway. Those Speedlings just die so quickly, and with the Baneling Nest going down, well, there's going to be no way to stop it. Meanwhile, Mister is on the push out, realising he needs to use these Marauders for something. We do have one Spinecrawler in the main, but one Spinecrawler not going to be enough. This just heavy Reaper pressure is going on and on and on. As we can see, no upgrades for them. And they just don't need them. They are just being massed. Now here come the Marauders, and well, Creeper is going to die in very short order, because that's a lot of Marauders to be in your base with nothing to defend them. Meanwhile, of course, Old Duck's bases will be going down. The first base is down, but now they're going to have to go back and try and defend against these Marauders. They don't want Creeper to die at this stage. Judgie coming in there with charge lots. Now the charge lots are pretty decent once they get a good attack in, but there's just not enough of them at this point. However, with the Reapers coming in and the Stalker support, we will see these Marauders get cleared up. So once again, the Myth team in just a strong position going forward. You can see there's a lot of gates. We've now got double Stargate coming out as well, producing nothing but Void Rays. So a very strong mid-game army about to come out of the Protoss, as the 2 Terrans, Nathan and Creeper, have really put the hurt on in the early game. I mean, the Zerg player has been essentially crippled. He's got 12 drones. If we just take a quick look at him, yeah, 12 drones, 6 Lings, couple of Spinecrawlers up to try and defend. But the thing is, the Spinecrawlers don't even reach here. The Reapers can just come up into the main, kill everything here, then drop down here and kill all the drones. It would just be horrendous. As it is, though, the Reaper's now going to work on the base of Mister. Mister, of course, having lost all of his Marauders in that attack, So having nothing to defend against this, he's just going to have to lift off so the Reapers cannot continue to damage too much. But one barracks already on fire, and all of these supply depots will be gone. So Mr. down to a maximum of 11 supply will be effectively taken out of this game, and now they're looking at just one player left, which is of course Wee, who has not moved out that much. He's a guy who's been getting his upgrades. His Marines are about to hit 1-1. He's got a lot of barracks, but unfortunately he did suffer that early game attack that sent him back so far, and now the Reapers are just going to come in and get done everything they possibly can. Now that's a good stim on those Marines, starting to take down these Reapers. Meanwhile, well, Mr. just looks like he wants to expand to the gold base, because why not? He literally has nothing left to do. We do have some speedlings doing what they can. They are on 1-1. But at the end of the day, you know, there's only so much can be done because there's Void Rays out. And Void Rays don't kill lings that fast just because there's a lot of them. But, well, there's not even a lot of them. With the SCVs holding them in, goodbye to your lings. Do you have anything left? You've got 20 drones left, so we can essentially count the Zerg as dead. And Mr. at this point is also essentially dead. Look at the unit counts here. We've got 7 SCVs, 2 medevacs, 20 drones, 8 overlords. Wee has 44 marines and 4 medevacs. That's it. That is their entire 3v3 army. Now, Judgie just spamming cannons down here, so no landing for you, Mister. And we'll also allow Judgie to take that base, should he decide that he wants to re-expand in the near future. Of course, we'll allow any other player to take that base as well. Just use those cannons for defense. So right now, they're just trying to stop Mister from landing, from using those mules, which makes sense. Meanwhile, we've got a massive doom drop coming in here. This is 4 medevacs, absolutely packed to the gills with marines. Excuse me, and not a lot to defend against them at this point. Oh, my throat. So, the barracks are going down in short order, but really, that's not going to be enough. He needs to do some incredible devastation here. He needs to start eliminating players from this game to try and even things up. The Reapers are on their way back in, though. It's a huge force of Reapers. We've already had one stim. And I imagine we will shortly see a second, but they could just be overwhelmed with Reapers. That is so many Reapers. Even at 1-1, the Marines are just being taken out so quickly. Medevac's not enough to heal them. And Wee is now left. Well, with still a lot of Marines, actually, just back in his base. He's just like, yeah, I've got Marines. But is it going to be enough? Whoops. Judgie expanding to the gold. We've got a large mass of Void Rays out now. Creeper rebuilding the one command center he lost during that attack. There's a lot of gates being made here as well. The forge is done. The fleet beacon is done. Everything progressing apace for the Myth team. Nathan now pushing in, just going to finish off this Zerg, make sure that he's not getting back into this game. Just going to take down his tech buildings in the main, and then wouldn't shock me if he jumped down to here. There's a couple of Corruptors out, and, well, don't much see the point in that, gotta be honest. Those Corruptors not going to be too great against the Reapers. Absolutely. Oh my word, could you imagine? So, Mister's trying to get back into this game now. He's still got his two medevacs from earlier on. But Nathan is about to go kill this Zerg player. Now, they do have a couple of mutas out, which is, you know, what I suggested. That will eventually, given a few years, clean up all these Reapers. But it simply doesn't matter. By the time they finish them off, everything the Zerg has will be dead. And in fact, is that gas the last structure of his? I kind of had a feeling it is, you know. I don't know. I don't really see any other structures. Technically, if he's still in this game, he could remake. Well, this has not rebuilt their base, so evidently there must be a structure somewhere. I don't think creep team is count. That would be OP. But nonetheless, Old Duck is pretty much out of this game. Here come the Void Rays! They're charged and they're chasing away the air support of the Zerg player. And I'm really just checking to see if he's got a building somewhere, but I don't think so. Nonetheless, he will be revealed to Nathan and the rest of what I'm referring to as the Myth team. Yeah, as they clear him up, there is nothing left for Olduck in this game. Mister is now trying to get onto it. Nathan re-expanding into Mister's old main, which is, you know, fair. Nathan has conquered his territory and now he claims it as his own. Reapers continuing their huge attack in the main base here. And, well, Wee Wee is very much dead at this point. It looks like a 3v3 win for Nathan, Judgie and Creeper. As we see, Wee Wee has left the game. Olduck has been essentially booted out of the game by losing everything he knows, loves and cares about. So it is only Mister actually left, able to play. And, well, he does not have a great deal to play with. So we see 4 Reapers for Mister. And somehow, I don't think 4 Reapers are going to be enough to clear up this army. Just, there's something just telling me, you know, with the expert analysis I bring to StarCraft 2, that this is not going to work out too well for Mister. Nice attempt at micro, into getting all his Reapers blown the fuck up. And there we go, Mister has left the game. Nathan, Judgie and Creeper were victorious and we've had some fun today. Guys, thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for sending in the replays, and I'll be back tomorrow with another interesting MythCast game featuring none other than